Okay, that was really weird. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Just to be safe though, I turned off the oh, Hikaru was playing. Just to be safe though, I turned off the engine and the evaluation bar. Maybe that was influencing it. It probably wasn't. I don't know what it was. I don't know if my internet hiccuped or something. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Basically, I don't know what I was saying before it cut off. But basically, Patch, I don't think it's important to like make huge sweeping changes based on feedback. But I think if like there's like, you could use that feedback to make surgical fixes. Like if there's like one thing that like 100 people are saying that like is like really fucked up, you kind of have to put that in perspective that that's 100 people who are commenting. And that's not like a huge representation of the whole audience. Like, let's say you have 1 million views every single episode. Let's just like, this is for simplicity's sake. Just to put things in perspective, if you get 100 comments out of 1 million people who watched it, that's kind of like, yeah, like that's 100 people, but it's 100 people out of 1 million. But then, you know, obviously it's not something to ignore. If it's 100 people, that's like a common enough thing that maybe you can make a surgical adjustment. They're like, hey, like, this might, I mean, if 100 people are commenting about it, there might be a lot more people who are watching it who also don't like it. So it's like, you can use that as like a sample set to say, okay, well, 100, if 1,000 people comment and 100 people say one thing, well, that's 1/10 of the people who are commenting, which you can make like a data set based on that. You know, if you like statistics, you can make like a sample data set and like a random data set or whatever, randomized data set based, that's 1/10 of the commenting population. You might be able to say, well, if 1/10 of the commenting population of it, that might be 1/10 of the overall data set. Yeah, so I think when it comes to beta readers, you kind of want to have like a section at a time that you give to them, and then you have a list of specific questions that are going to be dynamic based on what you want from them, like the key points that you want them to focus on to answer. Like specific questions that are going to be different depending on what the section of writing is. But yeah, I'm kind of like rambling on. I haven't even done any actual writing. Well, I've been trying to be strategic about it. I want to understand like some things. So basically, in this scene, in this first scene, there's 3 soldiers. You know, I generally like, this is kind of the way I feel about pronouns. The vast majority of people are probably cisgender. I mean, obviously there's always people who are like eggs, you know, like people who don't really know whether or not, like, they might think they're cisgender, but they don't know yet. But I think for the benefit of the doubt, you kind of just go with what people tell you at the moment. So I think it's really safe to assume that someone uses the pronouns. Like, it's obviously not always the case, but I think it's safe to assume that if somebody has like a stereotypically like a traditionally like female or male name, that person uses those pronouns, or if they appear feminine or they appear masculine, like it's generally safe, I feel. I'm not in the belief that you should always use they. I believe that you should use they in situations where you don't know the gender at all, like if it's just like, especially like a chess game. I won't say him or her unless I know the gender of unless I know the pronouns of the person. And generally, I still guess the pronouns because obviously, if you see someone with a profile picture and it's a man's picture, a picture of someone that looks like a man, I'm going to assume he and him pronouns. Obviously, if somebody is trans or non-binary, they will correct you, and then you go with that. That's my approach. It's not popular, but I think it's the most realistic approach. Because you can't just assume there's like 0.5% of the population that's trans in some way. So it's like the vast majority of the population is probably going to have pronouns that match how you would think they like. Obviously, you might misgender some cisgender people. In fact, I thought I was cisgender and I presented as male most of my life, and people would ask me if I was a boy or a girl because I'm kind of androgynous. And especially when I was younger, I had longer hair. And then obviously I got bullied. People would call me a girl. I'm like, God damn it. Like, if only I knew I was trans back then, that would have been awesome. But I didn't know I was trans, and so I was desperately trying to fit in to male society. So here we have, a woman. I said her name first just to indicate that she's probably the main POV character, at least in this scene. If not the main POV character, I'm pretty sure I want to make her the main character. She seems really fucking cool. She has some ability to like fire lightning out of her gun. That's fucking awesome. And these two guys are awesome too. And Dale can be a woman's name, but I basically wanted to make these two guys are kind of like brothers or something. I think these guys are brothers, and I want to avoid romantic because there's such a cliche, especially when, like the Bechdel test or whatever. But that's an extension of the Bechdel test. Basically, like, usually when you write a female character, there's always some kind of love interest, and it's like, I'm so fucking tired of that. Like, not everybody, not every story is a love story, and some people are like asexual as well. Like, so it's like, why does there always have to be some kind of love story, especially when there's a woman involved? Like, it's kind of like, break the cycle. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think it just like kind of hiccuped. Maybe it was Twitch, maybe it was Restream, I don't know. Something died. But it seems to be working now. Yeah, like you can say. Yeah, I don't think it sounds disrespectful at all. Like, but like, there are some crazy people on the internet that would think that that's fucked up. That you should always use they. Like what the fuck? Like, a very small percentage of people use they them pronouns. Like, compared, like, obviously it's not a small number of people, but it's a small percentage of people relative to the general population. So it's like, if you meet somebody and they're like wearing traditionally or like stereotypically masculine clothes, they have like a beard and they talk with like a very masculine resonance, you can probably guess that they use he, him pronouns. Now, if they say otherwise, then you're like, oh, sorry. And then you just correct yourself and move on. If they say they, them, or they say she, her even, because some people aren't ready to transition. Like, people are in different stages of their transition. You don't know where they're at. If somebody looks very masculine, but they say they're she, her pronouns, just respect it. Like, it's not that hard. Because I know it's like, you want to like see people who are like passing as, but that's like a stereotype, like a stereotype. Like, that's like you might see somebody who has a full beard, but that's because they're not ready to transition socially. They might be presenting as masculine at work or whatever, and that's okay. Because obviously I do think that eventually they'll be ready. Because I feel like, it took me like 13 years to finally just make the switch and just say, you know what, fuck everybody else. I'm not going to wait for anybody else, because if I wait for anybody else, I'm going to be waiting my whole life. And that's the realization. But not everybody has realized that yet. Not everybody's ready. And so you should give them, some compassion, and just be there for them and support. Because somebody might be questioning, somebody might be like, especially in certain places of the world or certain places in the country, it might actually be dangerous for them to socially transition at their current stage of transition. Like, maybe they just started hormones and they're not really ready, they don't feel safe. Oh, well, thank you, Set. Yeah, I was like 100% socially transitioned as soon as I was. Obviously it's not 100%. Like, it takes time to socially transition. But like, I flipped a light switch. Like, I was just like, I waited so long. I'm done waiting. I'm not gonna like ease into this. I just said, my name's Rebecca Lauren. She, her pronouns. Fuck you if you don't like it. Like, like I've been living my life as if I've already like finished, quote unquote, whatever that means. As if I've finished transitioning, as if I've already had the surgeries that I need, which, by the way, facial surgery is coming up very soon, very soon. I filled out the intake form and I just need to schedule, I don't know if they're going to call me. I'm going to call them this week, I think. I think tomorrow after I talk to my case manager. Yeah, I'm gonna have facial surgery and orchiectomy. And so that's really fucking cool. It's going to be a lot easier while I'm waiting for the full bottom surgery. Unfortunately, UCSF hasn't started a bottom surgery program yet. They do orchiectomy, but they don't do the full bottom surgery yet. They were going to roll it out last year, but then the pandemic hit and it changed a lot of things. But now, I mean, hopefully they should have a program soon, but also my doctor is reaching out to multiple different hospitals, multiple different medical institutions. And they're like some of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. Like they're the San Francisco area. Like, you know, that like people come from all over the country to get surgery here. So I'm in good hands. I'm in very good hands. I have a doctor who cares about me, who's fighting for me. And she thinks that like I'm like the ideal candidate for bottom surgery. Like if there is an ideal candidate, it's me. Because like I understand the risks. I understand that it's not a magic fix. I'm really good with taking instructions and following through with like, you know, medical care and studying about things. So I'm like the ideal candidate. And I'm going to therapy and I'm really working on myself. Usually people who end up hurting themselves or otherwise like detransition is because of external factors, like people like actually hurting them. And that's usually why people detransition. Obviously there's going to be people who detransition because they just weren't trans. That's obviously a case and they should be respected and they are valid. But I think people need to understand that that's a very, very, very small percentage of trans people. Or of people transitioning medically. So it's like, yeah, it sucks, but you can't get 100% things right. You can get like 99.9% right or whatever. I think that's pretty good result. You know, like obviously, like with COVID, people are going to die from COVID. That's going to happen. But we can prevent COVID by putting on masks and social distancing and taking the vaccines. Like that's a fact. It's not going to 100% eradicate COVID. It's not going to 100% prevent deaths, but it's going to put a huge like preventative measure. That's obviously better than less. And so just like with trans people who have support and who have a good, healthy relationship with their doctors and who are doing the work, it's a two-way street. Like the doctors do their part, but you also have to do your part. Yeah, I'm fully vaccinated since May, I think. So yeah, like I'm really happy about it. Things are going to be happening like really fast, I think. I think as soon as things start happening, it's just going to really it's just going to happen. Like I'm going to be going through recovery. I may or may not stream during that time. I got Pfizer, both shots. You know, obviously there's going to be periods of time where I just have bed rest. I may or may not stream at certain points. I ordered some medical ice packs, like ice gel packs that I can put in the freezer, and because I'm obviously going to talk to the doctor about exactly how I need to like recover, and if it's good or bad to use ice packs when they're swelling to reduce swelling, because that may or may not be a good thing to do. I've heard people say that it helps. And generally, people have positive results with like no scarring. So I think it seems like when you're in recovery, everything seems terrible. Like the same with bottom surgery. People talked about like it just looks like a total mess down there after they get surgery, and then everything's swelled up, and like it's just nasty and looks terrible. But you have to realize that that's recovery time, and it's going to be just fine. And I think there are steps to take to reduce scarring down there. Like vitamin E oil and stuff like that, but that's something I'm going to go over with the doctor over, you know, very specific questions that I have about like, hey, like, are there certain like vitamin E oils that are safe to put on the on the tissue to prevent scarring, and if so, like, where should I put it, etc., etc. I've read online of women who would get those little vitamin E supplements cut them open and then put the liquid on the area to help healing and to help reduce scarring. And generally, like, if you take directions well and you work with your doctors really closely, you have so much better results. But sadly, a lot of places in the world, and like, you know, specifically in the United States, don't have the same kind of level of care that I'm getting, which is like, you know, there's places and they just like don't even know certain things. I've heard some horror stories about women getting the wrong hormone, like giving them this whole slew of hormones, and then like having like no communication between the patient and the doctor, and like people having like things go wrong. And also with surgery, like there's this one woman who was talking about like she did all these things that I think really contributed to her really shitty recovery. I think eventually she was fine, but like she did a lot of things that she shouldn't have been doing. Like I think she was dating someone. I think she was like maybe even doing sexual stuff down there. I don't know. I don't want to assume that. But also like, I mean, I don't think that would have happened. Like, there's like no way. But I mean, whatever it was, I think she was walking around a lot. She started going to university like a month or two, like a few months after, like 2 months or so after she had the surgery. Like, take the semester off, girl. Like, god damn it. This is like the most important thing of your life. Why would you go to university walking around 5 days a week all day when you have like recovery down there that you need to take care of? Like, that should be your 100% focus. And I know not everybody can do that, but it's like, yeah, I mean, like, take time off from things. Like this is like yeah, I mean obviously not everybody's in a situation where they can like take time off work or whatever. It's really fucked up. I'm lucky enough to be in a situation where I can focus 100% on my mental health and my recovery. Hey, Bloodhound Studios, how are you doing? Anyway, just talking about some interesting, really happy news. I'm going to be getting facial surgery soon, facial feminization. And orchiectomy. I think in the same day. I don't know. But I have to have a consultation first. I filled out the intake form and sent it to them. Either they'll call me or I'll call them this week. I think tomorrow I'm gonna. If they don't call by tomorrow, or I'm just gonna call them tomorrow. After I talk to my case manager, because I have issues where like I just don't do things that I need to do, and so usually I talk to my case manager to kind of like figure out like an outline of what I need to do, and that's kind of what I need to do for my writing as well. And that's why I'm kind of like trying to come up with like you know, what's going to happen in this next scene. And you know, I have the 3 different observers, but like what I want to happen in this. Okay, so establish. Okay, so 1 writer, 2 real-time viewer, host viewer, and so the outline here is that establish the premise of bounty hunters going after a target and showcasing their skill and magic system. So that was the whole point of that scene. This next scene is going to be introduce the stakes. So that's going to be like politics of the world. You know, politics / world building. This is going to be new characters. Limitations. Plot, obviously. Oh, you love the music? I don't even know what's playing right now. Yeah, it's fun music. I need some seltzer water. I'll be right back. It's just some lime-flavored seltzer water, no sugar. Just carbonated water and natural flavors. I wanted to get just straight-up seltzer water. That's just literally carbonated water. But they were out. I like it because it tastes like soda, but without any of the sugar or anything. It keeps me hydrated because it's mostly water. I mean, the natural flavors... Obviously, you know, it's still better than sugar and stuff, but you know, it keeps me hydrated, and also it you know, the bubbles actually really help with digestion. It's actually better to drink carbonated water for digestion than it is like tap water. But I mean, you could completely replace your water intake with carbonated water, as long as it's just carbonated water. But I still think you should drink regular tap water, obviously. But it really kind of encourages to drink it slower, like sip it more, because it's carbonated, which is actually really important for water intake. You really don't want to chug water. A lot of people will say, "Oh, I forgot to drink water," and then they'll try to make up for it. But it's actually much more important just to slowly sip your water. It's important for lubricating your vocal folds as well. Okay, so I'm like trying to come up with like bullet points over how I'm gonna improvise this scene, and also I'm kind of procrastinating as well by outlining. Procrastination through outlining. I mean, at least I'm doing something. It's not nothing. It's actually really important, and I need to stop downplaying it. But I think also it's important to like understand that I do need to eventually get to the writing. That there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, obviously. But I think it's also really important to work on the outline, at least bullet points. I need to know what my goals are for the scene. Like, you know, these are kind of general goals. And I think there should be like, you know, general goals and then like a specific goal, but then within the general goals, and then there should be like, I mean, maybe I can figure out the very specific things after I've written it. And usually I seem to write best just by like kind of understanding what I want from the scene and then just improvising it, and then I'll know exactly what happens. Like, that's usually what happens. I think some people are better outliners. This is a movie, this is a TV series or a script that I'm writing of a potential TV series called Bounty. That's about that has like it has a magic system, and there's a premise of bounty hunters. And in the first scene, we establish a hunt, and that they achieve it flawlessly, and that's really important, because in order for us to understand the stakes, we need to understand that these people are very skilled, so that when they get a bigger bad, we know a reference point, so that we need to know what they're capable of, so that we can introduce you know, things that are stronger than them. At least that's the way I see it. So this is like kind of the point of the cold open, is like that we establish that. And so after this scene, I already read it out loud. I could do that again. Let's just exterior open field dawn. 3 soldiers walk across a field of grass. Selena, Jared, and Dale. It's late spring. The soldiers are wearing leather-style armor, swords at their hips. Selena also has a rifle across her back. Dale stops and crouches down. The other 2 immediately do the same. Selena readies her rifle. And then exterior forest across the field. Bare feet run across the forest floor, making barely any sound. And exterior open field. Selena looks through her sights. Dale and Jared are in deep focus, closing their eyes and softly mouthing some sort of incantation, while a soft orange glow surrounds them. After several beats, they vanish. So I'm thinking about like Naruto kind of stuff here, but top-down view of the entire field. Zoom in towards Selena's scope. From her POV, we see a crosshair with several different computer readings and a HUD. She surveys the entire forest entrance. We hear a soft click as the view zooms in further. Nobody can be seen, and there is no movement. Normal view of Selena. She fires the gun. Sparks of electricity form around the barrel, culminating in the end of the gun into a large ball of energy, which grows larger over several beats. A bolt of lightning fires in a continuous line toward the trees. Exterior forest across the field. A forest across the field. Across. Forest across the field. The lightning strikes a tree, which erupts in fire. A small humanoid creature falls from the limbs and lands on the ground, immediately running. Dale and Jared materialize directly in front and behind the creature. Dale is in front, draws his blade, and kills the creature swiftly. They start walking back towards Selena. They barely broke a sweat. Exterior open field. Selena surveys the area for a few more beats and places the gun back behind her back. She gets up and starts walking toward the forest. And then you have the opening credits. And now I want to have a scene that establishes the kind of like the context. Like, this obviously is a very important scene. It establishes some characters. It you know, establishes a magic system. It establishes that there's some kind of creatures in the world, and that they should be hunted, or at least this one should be hunted. And so this is a very, and also establishes that they are very skilled at what they do. And I think obviously in the rewrite, I could work this scene better. It's not important right now, but basically bare feet run across the forest floor making barely any sound. That's an indication that this is actually a skilled target, but I want to establish that more. And there's another what's the word? There's another suggestion that this creature is very skilled as well, that like she's looking at it directly and you can't even notice that it's there. But there's also a slight little subtext that she, and it would have to be made clear in the actual filming, but like basically what I'm trying to suggest here is that she has an ability to see things that other people can't see, that even her technology can't see. Because we see through the technology, but we don't know what she sees, at least at this moment. And the technology didn't even see anything, didn't see any movement, didn't see, like, but she knew where it was. And then clearly, I mean, it seems like she could have killed it, but she didn't. And it's probably because they needed to have some way of, like, you know, the reason why I'm setting this out as like a bounty hunter sort of thing. But I think it's important to realize that, like, I think this is like, there's supposed to be some kind of indication that they needed this target to be recognizable. because she could have killed it with her lightning gun, but maybe that would have completely destroyed it, right? Like, and that's kind of what I was thinking after, you know, when I wrote it. Well, kind of when I write, I just don't really think about it, but now I'm thinking too much, I think. Yeah, I'm also just procrastinating. It's kind of like that, you know. I don't know. I'm having a good day. I feel like I am being productive. I also think I need to stop overthinking. I also need to stop beating myself up for not doing things that I want to. It's perfectly fine just to talk about it and understand it. It's perfectly fine just to outline it. I am not wasting time. It is actually very useful. Yeah, and you know, like the whole point of the stream is so I can have like force myself to focus on an activity. I'm not necessarily trying to grow on my stream at the moment, and it's not really possible. Possibly on YouTube. I'm not sure about Twitch. I mean, I'm definitely sure that Twitch won't help me grow. YouTube streaming also isn't really set up right now to help you grow. So right now I am trying to create content outside of streaming through my stream, and that's kind of what I'm doing. Hey Chloe, what's up? Trying to get some writing done and being a procrastinating weirdo. Let's see, what do I want? What do I want out of this scene? Out of the next scene? What do I want? Introduce the stakes. Yeah, new characters, limitation, plot, lore, obviously. That's kind of like, you know, yeah, these are like the order of importance. I think it's more important to, you know, the new characters, limitations, plot is the number one goal. Politics, world building, well, that's lore. Magic system, you know, you want to kind of like, there's a Sanderson's Laws of Magic. Aw, petting my cats today. Oh, awesome. That's always needed. You want to write a video game, but you want a Twitch stream. Well, then you could do that in your Twitch stream. That's actually a really thing to do. And I would recommend not getting affiliate, because I actually canceled my affiliate specifically so I could use Restream, so that I could use it, also so I could use content from my Twitch stream and put it up on YouTube videos, like in clips, like and create like content that's more digestible on YouTube for VODs, for evergreen content that I'm not really at the moment too able to do at the moment because of depression. But also, like right now I'm working on writing stuff which is useful outside of streaming, and you know, potentially could be a part of YouTube. I could write scripts that I could collaborate with people to actually make a story, like make a movie or make a series or make a video game even, or whatever. Like this could be a video game, honestly. I'm not making it that way. I'm trying to make it a TV series about bounty hunters, and I'm not necessarily sure what it's really about yet. I'm probably going to learn that as I write it, because that's kind of how I write, is I just write it and I figure out what's going on as I go, and then in the rewrite I have a better outline of what's going on and I can make the scenes better. because obviously if you write as you go, if you figure it out as you go, there's going to be stuff that's left out that you need to put in the beginning. Like, so in the rewrite, I'll have the whole picture and I'll be able to go back and rewrite it entirely. What else do I want to do with introducing the stakes? Yeah, I think that's it. But for like the more specific things, I don't know. I'm not really there. Oh, definitely. YouTube is a lot more digestible, and it's evergreen content, and it's injected into an algorithm. And so if you, a lot of this is obviously stuff I don't necessarily know firsthand. I do have to give myself credit for what I do know, but what I do know is mostly from people like Devin Nash or Harris Heller of Alpha Gaming. And various other creators who've talked about it. Twitch will absolutely not help you grow unless you already have a following somewhere else. Or like streaming more will not help you grow unless you're already like streaming more is only important for people who are already like have at least a few, even like 100 viewers. That'll help you, because if you have 100 viewers, you're already at like the top 1% of Twitch or something like that. So it's like it'll put you much higher in the category, which means you actually will start to grow once you get to a certain view range, depending on the category, of course. Like obviously a category like Fortnite. Twitter is actually really important too, and Twitter and Discord are actually the two main places that I interact with people. And there's that too. You want to be a known entity in the sphere. Yeah, make music, and you could do that on stream and then take that and put it up on YouTube. And I would highly recommend not getting Twitch affiliate until you have like a decent amount of following that you can actually start to monetize. Which is usually like, 100 to 500 viewers, you might want to start thinking about affiliate. But even then, I still think you should wait till you get bigger. I canceled my affiliate contract. I had to actually submit a ticket to have to offboard. There's an offboarding ticket that you can make to actually exit my my Twitch affiliate contract, because the Twitch affiliate contract prevents you from being able to restream, because there's a clause that says that you can't any content that happens on your Twitch stream, you can't post to other platforms for 24 hours. And that's very limiting for growth. So I want to be able to make a YouTube video like as soon as the stream's over. I can put it up on YouTube. And obviously I'm restreaming, so I'm on Twitch, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, even Periscope, because they phased out Periscope, but I'm somehow able to still use it, but it's read only. So it's like it's kind of weird, but I'm restreaming it too anyway, because it's another way to stream is on Twitter. Like people who are seeing me on Twitter, they're able to see the stream right now. Like that's interesting. And then I'm also on D Live and Brime. And I think I'm on I think I actually wasn't able to get Brime to work, but I'm on D Live, and I'm also on Steam. I'm on Steam, so I'm streaming on Steam as well. So it's kind of interesting. We're rocking out over here. Okay, so I need to stop the outline. I think I'm just like kind of not really getting anything done there. So I have a scene in mind where there's something happening in the arcane library, and then there's something that transitions into outside the library. Maybe this is where maybe this is like after the fact. Like during the day, we're gonna assume that Selena brings the target, like collects the bounty and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to show that, but what we're going to do instead is go straight to a scene where this is basically establishing that this is a normal thing. This isn't a big deal. This is just a part of her day. And in order to do that, I think I need to show an interaction that shows an overarching plot. And maybe this is kind of the status quo, and something changes. Maybe not in this scene, but this scene establishes the status quo. So I think I need to put that in. That's the status quo. Hunting the target was totally mundane. There are other things going on. And so for this, I think I want to have some sort of scholar character. Finds some, discovers some new information. Because of this, I'm gonna make this like some like, oh, her grandfather. Yeah, how about let's do that. Selena's grandfather. I'm imagining her as like some Latino woman of some sort. This is a different world though, so it's like it's not like a clear one-to-one. Oh, oops. Yeah. Let's see. Ah! Cute name. UV. Selena. I mean, Dale and Jared may or may not be important characters. They may have just been like some people she hired. I don't know. But we have Scholar, Selena's grandfather. We have Jared. We have, well, Dale. We have Jared. Do you have a team helping you? And this is solo. I'm a amateur. I'm a new. I'm not, well, relatively new writer. I've written my whole life. I'm 33 years old. I've been writing since I was like 6. But I've never actually finished anything, which really sucks. The most I've gotten was a novel that I wrote like 160,000 words to, and never even finished the first draft, which frustrates me. I'm just moving on to the second draft of it, and just gonna start over from the beginning with everything that I learned from it. But right now, I'm just really trying to get back into daily habits of writing, and streaming helps with that because I can. It motivates me, and it also gives me a place to get outside of myself, which is actually really important because a lot of the times I just start writing, but then I feel like kind of crushed a little bit, and then getting, talking to people like you and just talking about other stuff and having a space to actually like vocally like work through my problems basically they call it the rubber ducky method. It's used in programming a lot, but it's, you know, a lot of writing is in a lot of ways is like computer programming, because you need to come up with plans and you need to understand how it works together and all that kind of stuff. The rubber ducky method is basically just tell your idea to a rubber ducky, and a rubber ducky, you know, through its you know, very nature, cannot talk back to you. So, you know, not only that, I'm not only talking to a rubber ducky, I'm also talking to people, which is very helpful. But yeah, to go back to Patch's question, I think I already answered it, but just basically to reiterate, Twitch is for hanging out with your audience, and if you're very smart about it, you can also create YouTube content within it, like in a segment. Ludwig is actually really good at this. He'll do his YouTube content during his streams. And he'll have moments where he's just like kind of hanging out, but he'll also have moments where he creates content for YouTube. But the thing is you do not want to join affiliate unless you have a good way of monetizing from it. Which, if you're a small streamer, like under 50 or under even 100, I think, you should probably not join affiliate. You should probably focus more on growing on YouTube and such, and then bringing them over to your Twitch. And then as you grow over time, there might be a time where you can actually start to monetize on affiliate. But I would even say just wait until you can go to partner. But even then, don't join the Twitch partner program unless it's worth it. And you'd have to understand that, like, once you're a Twitch partner, you're exclusive to streaming on Twitch. You can't restream, you can't do all that. So it's like, if it's actually more of a financially viable option to not join partner, that's something that you need to know whether, or like, you need to think about these things. Like, having Twitch partner or having Twitch affiliate in and of itself is not going to really help you. You need to have like a system in place. If you don't have a system in place that'll take advantage of those things, then it's basically worthless. Like, you could have like 12 viewer average and be a Twitch partner potentially. Like, I mean, I don't know, obviously you need like 70 viewer average to get partner, but once you get partner, you might fall back and you might have like less viewers after a while. So you could be a Twitch partner because you somehow managed to get the achievement or whatever, and you applied for it and you got it, and maybe you have a sponsor even. But if you have only like 12 CCVs, concurrent viewers, you know, like a few months after you've gotten partner, then that partner is really not going to help you. In fact, it's going to hinder you because you're not able to utilize like restreaming to help you grow and stuff like that. You're not able to put content up on YouTube for 24 hours after you've aired it, which obviously you should be making YouTube content off of your stream as well. But if you can make content on stream, to, you know, that means that's something that you're doing on stream that you don't have to do much additional work. You don't have to do additional filming. I don't know, I have lots of plans for my YouTube, but I need to actually get to work on it. But right now I'm focusing on doing some screenwriting because I might be able to collaborate with some other creators and get myself into the system that way. Because, you know, there is a system. There's a system of people making content and they're working together, and I want to be one of those people working. I want to be a part of it. I want to influence the sphere. I want to be a part of the machine. I want to create content. I want to work with people who make content. Let's see some other main characters. So far, that's all we have. Let's see. She's the main character. Can you at least lightning into her weapons? Uh, and Jared is basically like they're brother. I think they're brothers. They're basically like kind of like equal. Like they both do that. I don't know why I capitalized brother. What the fuck? What is it, German? It'd be nice to eventually write something with a team. Like that would be something amazing. I really want to work with people. It's just I don't know how to get myself to that point. And usually usually it seems like people don't want to work with me when they just meet me. That's really kind of been a struggle. It's why I can't work a job. And also there's other reasons why I can't work a traditional job, at least. I feel like I have a really strong work ethic, and if I have people holding me accountable, I can really get stuff done, but I need to be able to set my own work conditions. I need to be able to work on my own time, as long as I can get it to if I have like a week to work on something, I could manage my time during that week as long as I get the work done. That's how I work best. The problem with that is that it's much harder to make that work financially, because everybody wants that job. Everybody wants that. And so in order to get that job, you have to convince people that they should give that job to you. And for like jobs like writing, the bar is really high. People will say the bar's low, but I don't think it is. If it were so low, where's all my job offers? Because I've been working on writing for a very long time. People tell me my writing's really good. So there's more to it. There's like a social aspect to it, and because of autistic issues, it makes it really hard. But I think eventually that won't matter. I think that's my theory. That's my theory, is that if I can prove that I can do the work, people can look past my social deficits, and they can make use of me. They can use me. You write your video games alone? Yeah, animals are amazing. They just love, they don't judge. But you know, the biggest thing is obviously while you're learning, it's perfectly okay to do things alone, and also it is very viable to be able to make certain types of video games by yourself. But in the end of the day, I feel like your goal should be eventually to be able to work with the people who are right for you. Right? Like there's people that are going to mesh well with you. I think it's just most people probably don't. And that's fine, but I think also until like there, you know, obviously our own like comfort level and our own goals. Like if our goal is to like be in the business, we kind of have to look past we kind of have to let go of limitations. We can't say like, "Oh, I don't want to work this way. I'd rather work this way." Well, you know, at the moment you can't work that way yet, so you kind of have to put up with it for a bit. But the thing is I do have specific autistic issues that prevent me from doing a lot of those things. It doesn't mean that it's impossible. It means that I need to find the things that are right for me. That being said, like, you know, I don't know you, but I mean, I think that there are people out there that you would work well with. And I think the hard part is finding those people. And I think once you find those people, you're really going to love it, because these are going to be people who understand you and who respect you and who know how you work and who know when to leave you alone or when to talk to you. That takes time. And I feel like if your goal is to actually get into the business and actually grow, you kind of have to like stop limiting yourself. You can't say, "Oh, I only want to write comedies," or like, you know, you can't be like that. You have to say like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna write whatever is gonna get me work," and then eventually you can start working on what you really want to work on, and you might find that you enjoy writing different genres too. I think when you limit yourself, you're kind of closing yourself off to opportunities. Because if you start writing like a drama, if you mainly write comedies, you might find that you actually really love writing drama, but you never would have found that out if you didn't try to. And so it's like you kind of have to be willing to try new things. Obviously, there's only so much time in a day. You can, obviously, if you have a whole bunch of work lined up for comedy writing, then you should probably focus on that. But if you do have opportunities where you can try different things, I feel like you should. Because I know that with me, I need to be bugged. I need people to get me out of my comfort zone, because if I'm left alone, I'll never leave bed. And so even just coming up to my computer is actually a big deal, which is what streaming does for me. When I stream, it's forcing me to have a little bit of an accountability. Like I have like a stream to tend to. I have like, there's people who are potentially watching, like all that kind of stuff. I need another water. Be right back. I think I need to use the restroom too, so. Dark Souls and Doctor Who are the reason I'm wanting to make video games. Awesome. Yeah, so I mean, games like that, you're gonna have to work with people. I'm sorry, but like, it's just how it goes. Like, it's collaboration. Like, those, like, video games and movies, you know, if you want to work alone, you know, you might want to write novels, because novels are definitely something you do alone. You do have, like, people who help you in the process, though, and most good writers have a team of people that, like, they trust to give useful information, like beta readers. They'll usually have a writing group of other writers they talk to as well, so that, you know, you need to get outside of yourself, because usually when we're stuck inside of our own way of thinking, it's so easy to do that. And obviously it doesn't mean you can't function, but I feel like you're gonna have a better time if you're able to get outside of yourself, and I think it opens you up to new opportunities. And I think that, like, some people say they prefer working alone. They might, and they might do better alone, but I don't know if they really do. I think they just like working alone, and I think they just kind of kid themselves into thinking that that's better. I don't know. Hey, Hippo. How you doing? I'm basically procrastinating, but no, we're getting stuff done. Shut up, Rebecca. Jeez. Stop telling yourself that you're not getting things done. I'm literally, like, I got all this, like, new notes. What's funny is, like, for this note-taking, I have a note-taking system where I put the new stuff on top of the section. It's kind of weird, but it works out. It works out because otherwise I have to, like, scroll all the way down each time. And if I want to just jump to, like, the screenplay section, I want to see what I wrote first without scrolling down. I mean, obviously I could do it the other way around, where I can just go to I could go to, like, the latest and then go up above it, but I don't know. I just like doing descending. I also write YouTube comments and stuff down in this kind of, like, free form, this like free form area. Yeah, so there's a video by Devin Nash talking about, like, the 7 success secrets of top 1% creators. Yeah, your Hippo defense with a new username, Hippo24. I assume that. Was that the 7 success secrets are consistency, create without focusing on quality, so quantity over quality, because you can create quality through quantity. It's like that story of the of, like, the shop teacher who has, or whatever, has, like, 2 groups, where one group has to make 1 vase and the other group makes, like, 100 vases, and the people who make the best vase are the one who did 100, because they get to learn as they do it. And people think that, like, quality is like, oh, if I put 100% of my energy into it, and it's like, you kind of limit yourself through that. It's counterintuitive. They post on YouTube, which has evergreen content and can be content from your stream. They don't sweat view count and live performance. They watch their own VODs. I watch my own VODs, and I find clips that way sometimes. Personal. I personally watch my own VODs, and it's also useful to farm for clips. They optimize for all revenue generating funnels, so, like, calls to action on their Discord, like giving, like, nitro emojis, stuff like that. Although Nitro doesn't give you money, it gives Discord money, huh? Unless you're a Discord partner, is that possible? I don't know. Merch, obviously. Patreon is a huge one for YouTube, because there's always the possibility that you might lose a platform, or that a platform's gonna, like, not, like, one monetization method that you have is going to be like diminished, and if that's your only source of monetization, you're going to be screwed. And so a lot of YouTubers will have Patreon because you can offer additional content on Patreon that you can't get on YouTube, which is you're basically giving them value, more bang for their buck. But also it means that if a video gets demonetized or something, or if you have to start, or if a certain style of video starts making a lot less money and you have to figure out new content. Asimov was very prolific at writing. He also sucked at chess. Yeah, I mean, chess isn't about IQ. Chess is about how much you're good at chess. Like, you have to specifically train chess to get good at chess. I don't know where this idea of, like, if you have there's always this cliche in movies and stuff where somebody who's high IQ is somehow good at chess. They got around this in Supergirl, spoilers by the way, where Lex Luthor, he was actually he mentioned that he was trained by Karpov, who is the Super Grandmaster. Like, he mentions that, like, he was trained as a boy. Like, that explains that he was good at it. And it's not, and obviously he's intelligent, and they use that as an intelligent, like, you know, the trope of like, oh, this person's intelligent, they must be good at chess. But there's a way to do that where you can make it more realistic. Like, obviously, it's not that he's intelligent, it's that he's intelligent and he also trained under a grandmaster. So it's like that's it, the training was what did it. And he has a high IQ, so he probably got a lot out of the training. That's the kind of it. Yeah, like encouraging subbing for value. And they see themselves as a total brand, and this is like the most important one. Well, he was actually saying the most important was watching your own VODs, because you need to be able to see, like, if you can't watch it, why would anyone else want to watch it? And obviously my streams lately are kind of unwatchable, but I am having my moments. Like, I guess sections like this where I'm talking about stuff, but like, it's overall, like, if you can't watch your stream, if you're not enjoying it, why would anyone else want to watch it? But also, like, you're a total brand. You're not just a Twitch streamer. You're not just a YouTuber. You're not just a writer. You're not whatever you like. You're many different things, and they're all part of your own individual brand. So you're like a thought leader, and you're an entity outside of what content they create. And I thought that was really important. And these are things that I already knew. And then listening to people like Devin Nash, he really like adds a lot of value to things that I already know, which is a very useful niche that he fills. Because he knows a lot about the business, and he knows information that I have there's no way I would be able to understand, because he has experience of being a business owner. And being in the being in the Twitch business, like working with top Twitch streamers, like top of the platform Twitch streamers. You heard of him through Miskiff? Yeah, I think I saw him first. I think I saw him first. Oh, where did I see him first? I'm trying to remember where I saw him first. Jeez, I don't know. I think it was with Dr. K. No, it was because of Harris Heller. That was Harris Heller. I think he mentioned Devin Nash in a video, or maybe I just found Devin Nash on YouTube. I don't know. It was one of those things. Either it was with Dr. K or it was with Harris Heller. I think more likely Harris Heller, because I was looking. Oh, okay. It was Harris Heller. I think he mentioned Devin Nash, and I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg. But Harris Heller was definitely. There was a point in time where I was Googling like. How to make it as a YouTube, or how to make it as a content, like how to make it as a Twitch streamer. Obviously, I think most people, they start out thinking that it's all about Twitch, and then like what I've learned, and what I think is the most like the reality is you're not a Twitch streamer, you're a content creator. And Twitch is one avenue that you go through. Obviously, some people are able to make it work really fucking well, like XQC, for example. He's primarily a Twitch streamer. He's the perfect kind of person who can do that because he's able to stream for like 14-hour days. He's able to like really milk his like the Twitch format. He's really good at the React content, the stuff that Twitch loves. He's really fucking good at that. Some people are really like they're good at Twitch, but like their main focus is on YouTube because they can take content from their stream, and like Ludwig is a good example of this because his streams, not only is he a good streamer, but he utilizes content from his stream and then has it edited down to put into a YouTube video that then gets like millions of views or whatever. And besides that, there's also content creators outside of Twitch. So it's like there's a whole ecosystem on YouTube. Hey, Ethan. And so it's like if you're primarily a Twitch streamer, you're kind of like, as soon as you like start making it on YouTube, which is usually how people grow on YouTube, but compared to like the top YouTubers, it's like the bottom of the barrel. So if like a lot of these streamers who are switching over to YouTube, they obviously already have like a following on YouTube, but compared to like the overall YouTube, it's like going from a big fish in a small pond to a small fish in a big pond when you go from Twitch to YouTube, because YouTube is so much bigger and appeals to so much more of a wider audience. And obviously finding a niche is really important. I'm still trying to figure that out. I think the most important thing for me, just like I need to stop beating myself up, I'm actually accomplishing a lot with this story today. I'm coming up with some ideas, I'm thinking about it, I'm talking about it, I'm writing down some ideas. I haven't done any actual writing yet today, like for the script, but I feel like I'm getting a lot of stuff done that'll help me write it when I get to it. I might write it off stream. That might happen. Usually I write better off stream, and maybe it's like the planning and stuff I can do on stream. Like I feel like I do that better. All the top chess streams make it big on YouTube. Exactly, they do better on YouTube than they do on Twitch. That's kind of what I'm saying. I don't know. See, obviously it's not going to apply 100%, like 100%, depending on your content. What I'm just basically saying is, like, overall, if you're a small streamer, you're not going to grow on Twitch. If you're a big streamer, you're definitely going to grow on Twitch. But you have to already have that audience. And chess actually works really well on YouTube because you can strip it down to the bare essentials and stuff like that, and you can make it educational. And people, hey, Trans Rights King, with YouTube, you know, people are searching on YouTube like how to play the London opening or how to play the Sicilian, or how, like, you can make videos like that, and I should make some videos like that, honestly. Like, I have yet to actually make chess content for, like, specifically for YouTube. I don't know. I can do it. I need to get it. See, the thing is like, I need to build these habits, and right now I am literally building this habit. Yeah, my goal is to do these ultimate things of making YouTube videos that are evergreen content, but at the same time, and also just like, I'm also trying to write a screenplay. But at the same time, I won't be able to write that screenplay or make those YouTube videos if I don't have strong work habits. And so and obviously a lot of it is depression and that stuff in my real life that I'm working on off stream. And you know, that is what it is. But what I can do is I can say, hey, I can show up and stream 3 days a week for a few hours. And if I can do that 3 days a week, at least, maybe 5 days a week eventually, then I'll have these work habits that I can carry over from my stream. Like, if I do it 3 days a week on stream, and then the rest of the week I do things off stream eventually. Because it's like, hey, I already am used to doing this every week, 3 days a week. And if I, you know, showing up to stream, I actually want to make a habit of showing up to stream like 5 days a week, eventually. But, you know, even once a week. If showing up to stream once a week is what I need to do right now, then that's what I need to do. and my psychiatrist has, every couple of months I talk to my psychiatrist. I mostly just talk to my therapist every week, but my psychiatrist has told me that stop judging yourself on, you know, what, like, you know, on things. Like, showing up to do the things is meaningful. You know, if you do something that day, or if you don't do something that day, don't treat it with judgment. Treat it on, like, what value it gives. If I didn't do something, there might be a reason. Maybe I was working on something else. Are you on meds? Yeah, I'm on, well, I'm on estrogen. That smooths things out a lot, although sometimes it does cause some, you know, fluctuations. But I take it orally, so it's like, I have a little bit of estrogen every day. Well, it's not a little, but I mean it is. Because there, if you take injection, you take it like every 2 weeks, and you can have huge mood swings towards the end of those 2 weeks. And I do sometimes get PMS symptoms, but for the most part, I'm getting estrogen twice a day, and so it's like I generally am very, like, calm and leveled out. I also take a mood stabilizer, Lamictal, and that's helped more than any other medication I've taken for my mood swings, because I have extreme emotional distress. From PTSD, from lifetime of people just, it's not necessarily the actions on their own, it's the actions over time, and it's not necessarily just that, it's also the fact that I am autistic and interpreted those actions in a way that most people probably would be able to handle better, although I was given a shitty hand in life. I've had a lot of abusive people in my life, so there's a lot of problems associated with that. But out of every med I've ever taken, out of all the meds that I've ever taken to deal with my depression and stuff, like, Lamictal has been, like, the most useful, and it's in combination with weekly therapy, and also lamotrigine. It doesn't help everyone. I mean, no med helps everybody, but it helps me. And the biggest thing is also therapy, and also getting taking care of, like, you know, I have a case manager who helps me take care of, like, the errands that I need to do, like filling out paperwork for SSI or going to appointments and stuff like that, because there's a lot of things in my life that are literally creating these problems, like poverty, for example, and getting on SSI and getting into a housing, hopefully getting a housing voucher, or into some kind of program to help, you know, with housing, get me out of the trailer park, get me out of my alcoholic dad's house. Those will fix a lot of my problems. You know, sadly, money is really hard to get, and especially with all the problems that I have, all the mental problems that I have, and all the real struggles I have because of those, that prevent me from being able to actually earn money. But I'm trying my best to build something, but it's not guaranteed whether or not it's going to earn me money, and even if it does earn me money, whether or not it's going to be able to earn me a living is really scary for me right now, and it's causing me a lot of distress, and it's causing me a lot of, like, it's really hurting my depression, which I have major depression, so I'll be depressed for, like, weeks at a time. And because of poverty and because of isolation, I've been depressed since 2020, since 2019, well, since forever, actually. I've been depressed, like, my whole life. But I have good days and I have bad days. And overall, things are getting better, but it's just, there's a lot of things that are out of my control that are causing me a lot of problems. And then people will say, oh, it is in your control, you just have to work harder. And I'm like, really? Yeah, I just have to work harder, buddy. Okay, whatever. Yeah, people who don't know anything about my specific issues from autism, like, I have very specific issues, and trying to convince the government that I'm disabled has been an extremely distressing time for me. It's been over a year that I've been trying to get on SSI. Almost 2 years, actually. Yeah, ADHD also causes a lot of people problems. You donated? I'm sorry if I didn't see it. Thank you so much. I don't have my phone in front of me. Aw, thank you. Don't worry, I won't dox you. And thank you so much. Every little bit helps, and it's never required, so I appreciate it that much more. Yeah, I think the thing about like donating is like, yeah. Like I said, my focus is on growth. Personal growth, obviously, is first and foremost, but growing my business as like an aside, obviously that is important, but not as important as my personal development for my mental health. But a lot of my mental health hinges on my professional life. Being able to actually earn a living is actually really important for my mental health. So that makes it like, if I focus on these key parts of my life, like mental health being like a huge one, then like these other things have like purpose. I can say, okay, my purpose isn't to make money. My purpose is, well, because I am living in poverty and because I don't have any opportunities and because I don't really have these resources that people with money have, it's causing me, I can go back from it and say, it's not that I need money, it's that I need money because of X, Y, and Z. I need money because in order to fulfill these like main bullet points of my life, like I'm living in poverty, I'm very socially isolated. It's very difficult for me to get work to meet new people and to work with them because of issues I have with autism that I'm trying to work on. It's going to take years because I wasn't diagnosed until I was 31. And that was only 2 years ago, and was almost years ago. And but I've been autistic my whole life. Like, it's not something that just comes. I wasn't diagnosed until I was 31. So everything that happened growing up was a problem because I didn't have the resources available to me to learn how to interact in social situations. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. The thing is, it's like trying to find people that won't hurt me. That's the hard part. Because I can put myself into situations where I'm with people, but then some kind of problem is going to happen. And this is why I go on Discord. And I know it seems really counterproductive, but even going on like XQC's Discord on the voice chat, I was able to actually have a very serious conversation with somebody, and they really appreciated me and they liked me. They added me as a friend because they're like, oh, you know, finding somebody who actually talks about something serious, you know, and who doesn't like try to just meme all the time. Like there's people like that in Discords like that. So you never know who you're going to meet, you know. Don't discount, like, just because it's XQC's Discord, that it's going to be like a shit show. And it is a shit show. In fact, there was a whole bunch of people jumping on me just because someone was really transphobic, like outwardly transphobic, and then it kind of blew up into this whole thing. This happened on Friday night. And like the moderator even server muted me for like 10 minutes or whatever, and then obviously like you know, they unmuted me, but I think they just didn't understand the whole picture. But it's just like people just jumped on me because I just don't really know how to interact with people in a way that doesn't like once people start once there starts to be a little conflict, things really start to escalate, or they have a high likelihood of escalating. Uh, I don't know how to unpack that, Bloodhound. First of all, you don't, like, being trans isn't something that you become. You are trans. Like, if you question your gender, you know, that's probably a good indication that it's something to look deeper into. I would highly suggest finding a qualified therapist who has experience with trans people and non-binary people. Generally, the term is gender expansive care, because you may or may not be trans. But if you're questioning it, there's probably a good indication that you are. I think I know what you say. You mean socially transition, or medically transitioning. Socially transitioning is probably the hardest. I know medically transitioning and surgically transitioning is hard, but that's like a thing that you can solve. Like, I started medically transitioning, and I'm gonna have my surgery soon. But the social transition is the hard part, especially when you're just starting out. If you haven't even started hormones yet, it's really fucking scary. Really fucking scary. Especially if you're not, like, I'm kind of androgynous to begin with. And then when I started transitioning, I just, like, I've been getting more and more feminine, like crazy feminine. Like that a lot of people, I don't know if they're just saying it, but I feel like a lot of people just don't even notice I'm trans. Like, honestly, like, people just don't even think about it. I'm just some girl walking around. Yeah, I mean, it's hard, but here's the way I think about it. First of all, only you know when you're ready. I can't tell you when you're ready. But what I will say is that if you're waiting for people to accept you, you're going to be 60, 70, 80 years old and still waiting. You have to be ready. And when you're ready, you're ready. If, you know, people in your life aren't going to be ready, and fuck them, because they're gonna have to deal with it. And not necessarily meaning that, like, they're bad people. They might be really important people in your life. But if you're gonna wait for their approval, you're never going to transition. So you need to be able to say, hey, this is who I am. I can't change this. Accept me for who I am, or get out of my life. And I'm sorry, it's gonna be really fucking painful, but you have to do it. It's not like, I mean, obviously, hopefully you have really supportive people in your life, and I have some really supportive people in my life, but there's going to be people who just won't talk to you anymore. And maybe they just need time to process it, but that's their deal. That has nothing to do with you. You can be there for them. You might even be able to help them. But I think the main reason I do have, I don't have, yeah, I have some resources. It should post it to YouTube as well. Here's some videos, and here's some articles. Mostly the articles. Like from transequality.org. Those are really good, because it basically how to interact with your family is actually, oh, there, not how to interact with your, I will be happy, Hippo. How to interact with your family is actually really important, and the key point is it is not your job to hold their hand while they're learning how to navigate you as a trans person. It is not your fucking job. Your job is to focus on you, be you, do what you need to do, whether that's socially transitioning, whether that's medically transitioning, whether that's surgically transitioning. Only you know that, and only you can prevent forest fires. Only you can do that. Nobody else can do that. A doctor can help you, a therapist can help you, but in the end, that's only you can find out what you need. And it took me like 13 years to finally have the strength to transition. And I hope that other people don't have to go through that. But that's what I had to go through. I had to go through a lot of self-doubt. But once you're ready, fuck everybody else. Just do what you need to do and let people in who want to be in. And don't let people in who don't want you to be yourself. because those are like people who hate people for being black. Like, they might not think they're being transphobic, but they are. Like, if they would say, oh, well, you know, but I raised you as this, you're my daughter or you're my son. Like, no, you don't fucking know me. I'm literally telling you who I am, and you're diminishing that. You're trying to say that I'm this thing that you think I am. And that goes for non-trans people as well, like for cis people or just anybody with parents or with people in their life. If somebody has this idea of who you are, and they think that's more important than who you actually are, you should probably question whether you should have that person in your life. I know it's really hard to hear, but it's the God fucking honest truth. The God fucking honest truth. It is fucking true, okay? Like, I am sorry. It's gonna hurt. But it needs to happen. Because if you're gonna, like I said, if you're gonna wait for them, they're not gonna be ready. And you'll be surprised. Some people might really be ready that you may have thought would never accept you. And then there's going to be people who you thought would be completely on your side who will just completely show who they really are. And then you realize, wow, this person wasn't who I thought they were. Doesn't mean you have to like hate them. Doesn't mean but I mean, it just gives you an idea of how much you want that person in your life and how much you respect that person's opinion about you. You are a shepherd, not an engineer. Exactly. It's not your job to like figure out exactly and micromanage every single part of your child's life. I'm never gonna have children. I don't want children, at least. I'm not gonna aim for a life where I have children. I can't have children. I mean, I could, but I pretty much accepted from the day I took hormones that my sperm was gone. I didn't care. I will never care. I hate it when people think that like, oh, you might regret it later. Like, fuck you, dude. Just fuck you for telling me that I shouldn't take hormones or get the surgeries that I need to be a healthy person and happy person and fulfilled person because of some vague notion that having babies is the #1 responsibility of a human. There's plenty of people fucking shooting babies out, not right and left, okay? Like, the species isn't gonna die. Okay, there's plenty of people giving birth. If you're trans, you can have kids. It depends. It's not something that you should count on. If you take hormones, it kills your sperm and it probably kills your eggs. I'm not sure about testosterone. It probably does do something to eggs, but I don't know for sure. I have heard of trans men giving birth. And also trans women do have sperm, so don't count on it for being like birth control. There are sperm there. It doesn't get rid of 100% of your sperm. It greatly reduces it. Like, I think like 99% or something like that. 99.9%. But until you have orchiectomy, which is usually in conjunction with the full bottom surgery. Bottom surgery is actually 3 stages. It's orchiectomy, and then vaginoplasty, and then labiaplasty. It's a three-part surgery, but I'm going to be having the orchiectomy soon. Definitely from that moment, I'm not ever producing sperm ever again. And I think it's important that you accept that. And if you can't accept that, then there are options. You can freeze sperm, but that's going to cost money. If that's important to you, if eventually having kids is important to you, there are options. There's also adoption. And there are also things happening with, not with, I mean, obviously you can be a surrogate. You can give birth with a womb transplant, with like there's like a transplant where you can have like a womb. It's really fucking bizarre. It's very experimental, but it's basically you still use your partner's eggs with somebody else's sperm. So if you want to actually procreate from your DNA, you have to freeze your sperm, or your eggs, and you know, for if you eventually want to have your a child from your DNA with a partner. But that's something that might be important to some people, and is definitely not important to some of us. Definitely not important to me. I don't care. I don't want to bring another person with my DNA into the world because I'm fucked up. There's probably a lot of you know, inbreeding in my family tree. I'm just gonna be real with you. Like, there probably is. You know, a lot of farmers. And there's like a lot of mental illness, and I don't want to propagate that. And also, I don't want kids. Yeah, I don't want to adopt. I don't want to meet somebody who wants that. So, you know, why would I want to be with somebody who wants something that's completely opposite of what I want? So it does mean that I'm going to be a lot like alone, but it means that when I do meet people, it's quality. Like it's somebody that's going to respect me, and it's somebody that's going to understand that, like, I don't want kids, and hopefully they don't want kids. Most families do have mental illness, but there are very specific mental illnesses that are genetic. I think a lot of people, they'll talk about things in a general way, and it kind of undermines the real struggle that people have. Like, people say, oh, if you're depressed, just go work out. I fucking hate it when people say that. Sorry for swearing so much. I hate it when people say that. Like, when they say, like, oh, you know, you're only depressed because you're lazy. You're only depressed because you need to go outside and work out. Some of us have a problem doing that. And even then, that's only going to, like, obviously being healthy, like, I love going out for walks and going out for runs and stuff. Makes me feel good. You know, it gets your body moving, gets everything moving. Also, it's good for my, I really do need to exercise a lot more. My fat distribution is kind of potato-y. But you know, that's obviously good. But it's only going to be it's going to help, but it's not the solution. Like, it's not going to get rid of the mental illness. People think mental illness just means people who are between mental illness and just having a temporary situation. And I think people confuse the two, because I have clinical illness. Like, there's actually something in my brain that is causing these things that no amount of, like, exercise or trying harder is going to change. I can manage it, and I can try my best to treat it and hopefully make it so it doesn't have, like, a negative impact on my life, but it's always going to be there until there's some magical cure, which may or may not happen. Okay, like, you never really cure depression. You never really cure, like, anxiety, and you definitely can't cure autism. Like, that's just, it's a fundamental structure of my brain. Yeah, I mean, in fact, sometimes exercise can make you more depressed, but I do think it helps you, like, feel better. I mean, obviously over time, but it's hard to do things over time when you have depression, because you don't want to do anything. That's what depression is. It feels like nothing is going to give you pleasure, and so why even try? That's my biggest problem, and everything that I have is, like, heightened to the extreme because of autism issues. So it's like I have depression, but not only do I have a depression, I have an autistic brain that analyzes that depression and creates an even worse problem. And it really sucks. And I don't want to sound like I'm just, like, complaining, but this is the reality I live in, and I'm not trying to, like, make people feel sorry for me. I'm not trying to make people feel like, oh, you know, poor Rebecca, she's just like, oh, boo-hoo. You know, like, that's not what I'm trying to say. Like, this is the reality that I live in, and it's something that I have to work with. Doesn't mean that it's impossible. It just means that's the reality. I try to work with reality and not just like, oh, well, you know, I should just toughen up. Like, no. Toughening up is going to create more problems, because if I'm ignoring the core problems, it's only going to get worse. And so for me, it's much better if I understand those root problems and I work on those. If If I look at the reality, say, hey, I have limitations. It doesn't mean that I'm useless. It just means that I have specific limitations, and I can try to overcome those limitations. I can maybe try to like work on those, but at the same time, I also need to say, hey, it's really hard for me to prepare food. And if I want to eat healthy, I'm going to have to buy pre-prepared food, like microwave food. And I joined a program that's going to send me healthy food each week, like diabetic healthy food. So I can have a full, so that I can have a healthy diet. That's also going to help my mood. That's also going to help with depression. But it's not like fixing your diet and fixing your exercise is going to cure your depression. Like, and I think that saying that to somebody really like is basically a big middle finger. It's like you completely ignore this person's very real struggle. Yeah, I love reading. It's just I read really slowly. I've been reading Wheel of Time, and I'm on the third to last book, and the first one after the original author died. I'm not going to give spoilers, and please don't. But if like I haven't read the book for like a month. But whenever I do read, it's really enjoyable. And for me, a book like that, Sanderson's audiobooks, what, Mistborn? Mistborn, I loved Mistborn. I have The Way of Kings in the ready to go as soon as I finished Wheel of Time. Oh yeah, Stormlight Archive. Yeah, I got The Way of Kings ready to go. I read the first like 9 chapters, but I'm just gonna start over from the beginning when I finish Wheel of Time. I think I read like the first 9 chapters or so, but I'm gonna start it after that. My friend is all caught up to it, but I want to read Wheel of Time because it's been a book it's been a series I've been reading since like 2015. Actually, I think 2014. Yeah. But the thing is with Wheel of Time, I will like sometimes like really binge it. In fact, I think like when I read like book 5, I read like the entire book in like a few weeks. And I read like the first half of it. It took me a while, but then I read the rest of the book in like a week. And I'll do that, and I'll probably do that with these books. But I like to like process what I read, and I kind of treat it like the never-ending story, where it only advances when I advance. And so I've been treating the Wheel of Time as kind of like a meta-analysis. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, but if you've read the book at all, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I think, is that it feels like the book matches your own life. Like it's being influenced by what you're going through in your life. And right now I'm going through a lot of stuff, and where I'm at in the book, it fits really perfectly with what's going on. Like, not literally, but like meta physically kind of thing. I don't know. The Fault in Our Own Stars. You know, I love reading. I just haven't. I try to focus on quality. But I do know that there is quality through quantity. I do want to read more books, but I think right now I want to focus on screenplays, and so I'm going to read a lot more screenplays. And I only focus on the books that I'm mainly reading. Like, I'm going to finish the Wheel of Time, and then I'm going to start Stormlight Archives. I also have some other books that I'm going to read. And then sometimes people give you books to read. They're like, hey, I really love this book. Please read this book. And then it's like, it's even more special because it reminds you, because it's what, you know, a friend of yours wanted you to read. Okay, what are we doing here? Some sort of scholar character discovers some new information. Because of this, it creates a new way of thinking, way of seeing the world for Selena. So she sets out to find out how she fits into this new worldview. Yeah, and I think this is going to be the main thing. I don't know. I don't know yet what the main like driving plot line is. I probably find that out through the writing. But you know, I think I'm gonna have to end the stream and probably work on it later tonight. I think it's gonna be really hard for me to do any actual writing on stream because I get so distracted. But also, I think it's just the nature of writing is kind of like you do it behind closed doors. But I mean, obviously, I can do a little bit of writing, but I can also do mainly this like this outlining, like writing notes and stuff like that, and talking about stuff. But I think I did some good work today, even though it doesn't seem like I did in my own head. I thought about the story more. I outlined some plans of action. I have some really good plans of action that I can actually work on. And, you know, I'm going to be working on it even when I'm not, I'm going to be thinking about it, you know, throughout the week. And, you know, whenever I feel like sitting down and writing, it might be off stream. I love comic books. I actually really love comic books. I was reading a lot of Spider-Man, like from the I started out like I kind of picked an arbitrary point to start out. I started out in the one in the 80s, like when they start, like basically there's this whole arc of Spider-Man where he like becomes like he becomes like changes his he becomes like a lot like more broody and like dark, and like I think that's when they introduce Venom. I'm not sure, but there's also, I don't want to give spoilers, so but like I picked a point that looked like a really good place to start, and I remember reading these comic books as a kid because my brothers had them. And I would read them, but they weren't complete. And I know I canceled my membership, but every time I really feel like reading Marvel, I'll get a Marvel Unlimited Marvel Unlimited membership. And there's also DC Universe, where I was reading Flash and I mean, actually, basically what I started doing instead for Marvel is I went to like when Fantastic Four started, and I found a list of like what you can order the list in order of publication, and I was literally reading every single, like not like every single comic book issue, because some of them were just, you know, kind of like side magazines that I don't really care about, but like all the main like Marvel superheroes, like Fantastic Four and like Hulk, Incredible Hulk, and like Spider-Man, and this is like when Spider-Man first started, and like I'm reading them in order. But it's a lot of stuff to read, and I'm not always into it. So when I get back into it, I'm gonna pick up where I left off. And I was doing the same thing with the DC, where I found a giant list of like every single DC comic, like as soon as they were published, like in the order that they were published, because there's a lot of crossover, which is actually a really big deal to me, at least. Because a lot of the time I would read a lot of comic books, but when it says like find out more in this next issue, and then you don't have that issue. But the cool thing about DC Universe and Marvel Unlimited is that you have a subscription each month, and you get to actually go in and you can read like anything that they have. They don't have absolutely everything, but they have most everything. They don't have the absolute newest stuff. So if you're going back to like the 60s and 70s, you're fine. Do you know who Jordi El Nino Polla is? I don't know. I have no idea. Let me check. Jordi El Nino Polla. Angel Munoz Garcia, better known by his stage name Jordi El Nino Polla, often shortened till Jordi ENP, is a Spanish pornographic actor, producer, and YouTuber who rose to prominence after working with the production company Brazzers. Okay. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, that's some good stuff there, you know? Some of it's funny. Yeah, he's got a big one. Okay. Obviously I made sure not to show that on stream. You can imagine whatever it was I saw, okay? Anyway, you guys, I'm gonna head out, and I am going to hopefully work on more of that writing off stream. I really appreciate talking to you guys. I appreciate the support, and if you're not subscribed, make sure to like and subscribe down below on YouTube. Make sure to follow me on Twitch. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Rebecca Lauren. At Rebecca Lauren. And make sure to join my Discord. It's command here. Make sure to join me on Discord. Make sure to identify with Alt-Identifier or you will get kicked. Nice mic sound. I don't know. Oh, thanks. Just hang out. I hang out a lot on Discord. So if you want to join on Discord and talk to me off stream, that's usually where to find me. You can also find me on Twitter. And I've received 100 messages today. Awesome. Okay, well, see you later, guys. Bye-bye.